Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. Well, we got things scheduled. We'll see if it starts out as planned, where we talk about the government scholar. 1 o'clock Cocoa Fest coming up at Pedro, St. James, and then 1:30 MP Saunders with, Miss Teresa Louise Pitcairn will be our guest. But between now and then, we invite you to share your thoughts with us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back. You may have enjoyed yesterday, both because it was Ash Wednesday and it was not just agriculture show on Ash Wednesday, but it was, Valentine's Day, the official chocolate day. Well, our phone lines are lighting up as we invite you to call 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call 925-32621, and we take your calls and share your thoughts with us as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. 949-6990. The wonderful Miss Susan is always there answering your calls when you share your thoughts with us. We're always, eager and receptive to hearing your perspective. We want to invite and ensure that all and sundry alike feel that they have unfettered access to our airwaves to share their perspectives. So if you want to be a part of the discussion, 949-8037 or 949-6990. And want to figure out how to engage us in the whole discussion of food security, both from the country's perspective, just in case something transpires. There's a natural disaster somewhere that affects here or even here, or if there is something transpiring in the region or more globally that could affect food production, food sources and supply and the like, and to what extent we would have a level of recourse, and not only that being as significant as it is, but in the interim, how do we encourage more of us, especially our students, our entrepreneurs, to look at agriculture and consider it as something very, very, very viable. Well, first, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Wow, thank you. Now, this is a good way to start the day, an excellent call to put us in that frame of mind to think, but also to listen. So how are you?
Not too bad. Thankful.
Oh, man. It's always good to hear from our callers, and I especially like to hear from you, who always encourage us to look at what's before us. So thanks for taking time to call.
Yes. I was talking to you on Wednesday in regard to the farming, right?
Uh-huh.
For our young children.
Right.
So I went to the market and bought some plantains.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 4 plantains for $10. And I'm like, whoa, now this is what these young children need to get involved in this farming for real. They do want to make some money. Because if you can get a bunch of plantain and sell 4 for $10, You know, you got a pretty good amount of money coming off of one bunch of plantains. As a young man or young lady, you need to learn to get your hands dirty.
Well, I'm glad that you're encouraging people to see that there's good money to be made. If he doesn't mind, Cody and the like, with a very innovative approach. We've had him in the studio. It's not just the technology that they've deployed and the yield and the quality, of their produce, but the fact that here is somebody, like you said, a young person, combining all those things and bringing literally to the table quality, produce that potentially could be even more competitively priced if we could get through, as he and the others have shared, that whole sort of bureaucracy. And how can we navigate this thing? So if I'm not putting you off, is it not that we not only need to encourage our children and our students to look at farming, agriculture, and the like as a possible career, but as you mentioned, also as a possible very lucrative business, but is it that the country, through its government's policies and their red tape, if there is such, that we can facilitate, these business ventures? Not saying that we don't, just asking if we could do more, or if what we're doing somehow, without even realizing it, could be discouraging to some people and getting into that area.
This is no time to get discouraged, not with what's happening right now in the world.
There you go.
We got beautiful soil here, and I don't think as much fertilizing you have to do to get something to grow here in Cayman. You just got to, watch it and take care of it, and keep away the chickens and the cats and the dogs out of your yard.
Yeah.
That's my problem,
Yeah. Well, you're right.
I feel that we need to invest more in our children and make them know, hey, there's nothing wrong with farming. You're bringing food to my table and the rest of the island tables. So getting involved at a young age is nothing wrong with that. Yeah. All they got to do is start up in their own backyard.
Can I ask? I'm careful that this isn't intended to be anything other than a question that is asked as responsibly as possible to elicit an accurate and timely answer. I'm hearing increasingly over the recent months that much of the produce that is being sold at the farmers market isn't necessarily grown here. It's brought in on the Cayman Airways flight, and it's on taken out of the box in the packaging and put down in the stalls and sold. Now, whether it's one piece every so often, whether it's the majority because of whatever reason. But I'm also told that yesterday at the agriculture show, it was also very evident. And I wonder if there's any, merit to that contention.
Yes, there is some to it, because there are some people there who's getting their stuff from elsewhere. But you can tell what's local from what's not local when you go to that market, believe me.
Yeah.
If you know your ground food, you can tell what's local. Which
is what I understand. And again, I'm open to guidance from the perspective that, to me, that's fine. If I go into the shop and I'm buying A, B, and C, that's fine if this is, how it's presented. What I'm not fine with is, doesn't matter what it is, if something, like my brother-in-law used to say, don't give me a 6 for a 9. If something's being presented as something, so here's a local mango for argument's sake, or a local pineapple, or a piece of cassava, but it's not local, right? I don't mind you selling it. I don't mind that you have procured it from somewhere. To me, it's the same as the retailer who's gone to the wholesaler, who's bought it in bulk, got a good price, sets up a shop, and sells the thing on to me for the convenience or whichever. It's the same thing. I know, what I'm getting. But when it's sold as, in this case, quote unquote, local, I want it to be local, And if that is the case, and I thank you for sharing your perspective, because I'm told that's a very, very acknowledged thing, right?
You know what I can't understand, Sterling? When you go there, just about everybody has plantains.
Okay.
And everybody has a different price on their plantains. and they got the right ones one price and the green ones one price. I think that is ludicrous. That is crazy.
Okay.
It should all just be one price
Can
for the plantains.
I challenge you? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but why should it be? I mean, you got 4 vendors, A, B, C, and D. They all have plantains, but one has it at one price, one has it at another price. Why should they all have it at the same price?
Why? That's what I want to know. And they're as far as they're concerned, they're local because they're still sitting on the bunch. You understand? And who they're buying them from up in the farms. I'm quite sure they're getting them a little half decent price on them for them to soak them up and make something. But you see, Sterling, when you're trying to, I don't know how to really put it in the right words now. When you're selling something, and you, especially something small as a plantain, you're trying to make your profit back in the plantain. When you know that you got a sweet potato, they're going to cost you $4 and change. You know what I mean? And sometimes those sweet potatoes, they're from Jamaica. I'm not telling about it.
No, but that's not the... No. I hear you.
You know?
I hear you.
And it's $4.50, well, like $4 something a pound for a pound for the sweet potatoes, and one of them can weigh over a pound.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's like the plantains that we bought on a couple of days ago. I think it was, I don't know, $2.50 or $3 a pound, whatever it was, but it was $10 CI. That's $12.50 US. And when I think about the plantain suckers that I had in my backyard, and when they shoot, the tree before they could really get a good size. It's like the depth wasn't great for them because my yard is very rocky, you know. So they just start to break in two. But we need to get our young children involved in something else, and instead of this cell phone and this tablet and internet
talking my language now.
Yeah, destroying our children.
Yep.
Are you going for a break now? Because I'm not finished with you.
You're not finished with me? Oh, well, I hope I'm not in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble.
All right, well, listen. Thank you for acknowledging the break. I'm told that there's nobody else in the queue, so you hold on if you would, and then we can talk more when we come back.
I will hold on.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. We're going to continue right after the break.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $4.10 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Now is the time to see LA your way.
The Cayman Airways LA midweek sale has been extended until February 24th.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
This Valentine's, Digicel has something special. Join our shared postpaid plan for unlimited data and minutes for both of you. Plus, get 25% off for 6 months. Activate a 5-day Prime bundle for 2 SIMs at $14.99. Enjoy free calling between both and 25% off for 6 months. Make this Valentine's memorable with Digicel Cayman. Visit us today for unlimited connections. Digicel, connecting hearts this Valentine's.
The 2024 Cayman Arts Festival is here, celebrating 20 years of world-class performing arts in the Cayman Islands. From February 18th through March 1st, featuring 8 unique performances, a mix of Cayman and international renowned musicians. View the full lineup of events or get your tickets at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries@caymanartsfestival.com. The 2024 Cayman Arts Festival, February 18th through March 1st.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to the ever-famous Miss John for always being so amenable as she stays on the line. So thanks very much. Thanks very much. But anyway, you were sharing, so hopefully we didn't put you too much off your train of thought.
No. Okay. We had a gentleman here. He was married to my aunt. His name was Vincent Pantry. And he was from Jamaica. Let me tell you something. He used to have a lot of farming going on when he was alive here in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
You could have gone to his yard and his ground and find everything. All you had to do is come home with the fish or the salt beef.
There you go. Yeah.
That's all you had to come home because he had everything. You could have gone to his yard, and I don't remember him selling one corn or one pumpkin or anything. It was always given away in the neighborhood. He had loved his farming. I remember one time I went with my mother to help him plant some corn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I took the corn seed, and I was playing with them and put them in my nose, and I'm like, my mother, she started hollering and screaming and counting, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? I want a bit of thing. Up in the bush, bit of a farming, But I just say that to say that farming is possible here, and I got some cassava sticks planted again in my grow box, and they are beautiful. I'm gonna send you a picture of them.
Oh, please.
But but I want to ask who's in charge of tourism, what's going to become of our public beach before this year is out, when it comes to this new hotel opening up, and the taxi people going down to the public beach to take and drop off visitors. We need to know what is going to happen before time. We cannot wait until the day that hotel is going to open. Say, well, there's been no more entrance in there with these taxis and taxi buses and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from tourism need to come out and tell us what the story is about public beach for this year or next year when this new hotel opens. I think it's only more than fair that we know something early. Do not wait until the last minute to tell us, hey, you all cannot come into public beach no more, because Sterling, something is brewing, and it's not coffee. It is not coffee. It is something else that is boiling over the coffee pot.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I'm asking whoever in charge of tourism to please come out and talk to the people, and I need public on the radio.
Okay.
I don't want about to go down to public beach and tell them who down there what the story is. Come on the radio and tell us what the story is with public beach and when that hotel open up, and where are we going to take these visitors when they come to our island. And I don't want about to come and say, oh, y'all will still be able to go on there and drop people off, because that's going to be a blatant lie down at the end of the situation. That's going to be a blatant lie. It's going to be a ton of restriction. But anyhow,
thank you.
I hope that somebody will call you and tell you something about that.
All right.
Sterling, do you know of any public beach on the 7 miles, somewhere around where the Galleon Beach was at, and now the watercolors are there? Do you know if that's the government leased property or that was sold? Do you know anything about that? Is that really belongs to government?
My initial answer is that it's been converted from leasehold to a freehold, like the old villas at the Galleon site. Just in recent times, sort of prior to Christmas, people are chatting, they're reminiscing, they're sometimes in a regretful tone saying, boy, I wish we had. So that property and a few others were mentioned by those who had some insight, because of their age and experience, and like many of those properties, including what was, I guess, the original Safe Haven and whatever it's called now, were all leasehold properties. And then over time, the respective governments of the day had, in exchange for principal sums, exchanged and changed the title from leasehold to freehold. That may have been the case as well.
So, Sterling,
Uh-huh.
I'm not getting this. Are you saying that was or is Dulmet's beach property?
I'm told it is no longer leasehold. It's now freehold. Yeah.
So it is sold to who's on it now? Who's built on it? It has been sold to them?
And not just now. Previously, if that particular piece was leasehold, it was converted to freehold. Now that piece, because remember the old what I would call that was in Gallon. That was
Carl. What was the name? I know.
Yeah. How did we forget? Nestle Spot, it was owned by the gentleman who had owned a couple of other properties, and then he sold it, and then it became the development.
Cottages on the
Yeah.
beach there.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't call the name. I know what you're talking about.
Beach Club?
Well, in that where
it was Beach Club, right? Beach Club.
Beach Club. You know where the watercolors and stuff is located right now, condos?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now whether that piece was ever leasehold, that may have been leasehold many, many decades ago, and then it became freehold.
What leasehold mean?
Oh, sorry. That's when you have title to a property, whether it's for 99 years or 999 years. You have it for a period of time.
Wouldn't it be?
No. The leasehold, and I leave it to those who do conveyancing and understand property law. But leasehold is that you have, as the quote-unquote the owner for that time, for that extended time, has access and use of the property. But at the end of that agreement, that agreed period, the land would revert to the original owner. Whether you pay some upfront or a sum at defined intervals, one amount or one amount every year, whether it's for a significant sum or just a peppercorn, and you have it, and then it eventually reverts to the person. And everything that is constructed on it at the end of that lease, that agreement, goes back to the original owner. Now, there may be a provision for it to be renewed on the same terms or on renegotiated. Okay.
Okay. So I gotta cut it short and leave it there. But
yes, ma'am.
Is government involved in it? That's why any government is involved in it now still?
No, the short answer would probably be no. Even if you have a leasehold property, and let's say you had a leasehold property that has a 99-year lease, and let's say there's 50 years left on the lease, for argument's sake, the people that own the lease more than likely can sublease it. They can construct buildings on it. They can apply for planning approval to do things that maybe would be allowed in that area, or even apply for a variation to do things. And if that is approved, then they are allowed to do that. So let's say, for instance, there's a vacant property. A hotel is allowed to be built in that area, or they approve to vary so that a hotel can be built. And then in 50 years' time, if the building is still good or whatever is standing on the property, we'll go back to the people that granted the lease, whether that's government or a private individual or company.
Boy, I still don't understand. Mr. Max, you need to get on this radio.
Okay. Well,
I know you try to extend it as much as possible. I'm not into them things. But,
fair enough. Many people aren't.
You know how it is.
Of course.
But I know it's time for you to go, but I just want to say to you that I heard Ms. Brian just talking about children with their nannies and so forth. Let me tell you something. What I see some of these nannies out here doing with a child in a stroller and on their cell phone talking, it needs to stop.
Yeah.
Just this week here somewhere in the States, a lady was walking with her child, and the lady got killed. And thank God that the child's alive. The fact that she's dead by some car hitting her, but the child was in a stroller only just months old, and they're saying the child is alive. And we don't have no good roads, and you're pushing no stroller and on your cell phone. That need to be stopped. But I'll leave that right there.
Right.
But I know you're probably going to take a break, and if I get fiery, I'll call you back. And thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And if you do, you call us right back. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care. Have a good afternoon. And as we go into the break, I appreciate the caller's last point in relative to people who look after children. And as she referenced Miss Bryan, I appreciate her recognizing her. My recollection of our conversation was when she referenced, the word nanny or nannies. I said, listen, whether we call it nannies, and she did share, perhaps there are different definitions for the nanny versus the domestic helper versus whichever. My view is that let's make sure that whatever the legal definition or the semantics, we ensure that the primary focus is the safety and the well-being of the child. So if one category is required by law in order to be licensed or given a work permit, and that category needs to have, say, CPR, let's make sure all categories have it, because presumably that would be, to the benefit of the child. If the children's law, as I think it is, should apply to all categories, and let's not get caught up in the nannies, because there may be other social connotations to not just the sign words, but perhaps even worse in terms of prejudice and discrimination and biases and all sorts of things. All right, let's pause and take that break and take the calls when we return. Stay tuned.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Now is the time to see LA your way.
The Cayman Airways LA midweek sale has been extended until February 24th.
This Valentine's, Digicel has something special. Join our shared postpaid plan for unlimited data and minutes for both of you. Plus, get 25% off for 6 months. Activate a 5-day Prime bundle for 2 SIMs at $14.99. Enjoy free calling between both and 25% off for 6 months. Make this Valentine's memorable with Digicel Cayman. Visit us today for unlimited connections. Digicel, connecting hearts this Valentine's.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure presents live in concert Third World and Dwayne Stevenson. Friday, February 16th at the Agriculture Fairgrounds with Cayman's own Mr. Notch, Local Motion, Super C and Sound Revolution. Food and drinks available and a chance to win Cayman Airways tickets. Enjoy Third World and Dwayne Stevenson live at the Agriculture Fairgrounds. Friday, February 16th. Gates open 7 p.m. Purchase tickets at eventpro.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. I'm open line until 1 p.m. when we have a chance to talk about Cocoa Fest. But let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Sterling, how are you, sir?
Excellent. I'm glad that you were able to, give us a call and share your thoughts. Hope you're well as well.
Yeah, with all that is happening, I guess we got to give thanks that, until, things change, we're going to have to still try to fight and carry on to make things better for us. But my point to you now is based on what is happening in America.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm sure you're aware of what is happening in America. Oh, by the way, I am 100% a Trump supporter, right? Just thought I'll make you know that.
Okay.
What is happening in America, Sterling? It seems like one party can do anything they want and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And soon as the other party, it doesn't matter whether they drop a match on the sidewalk or what it is. I mean, it's headline news and they run it till it actually burn out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other party, it doesn't matter how much dirt they carry on with. It just seems to get no headline news whatsoever. And you know what? Whoever don't see these things that is happening in America, I think I don't know how to explain those type of people, to be honest with you, because in my world, Sterling, right is right and wrong is wrong,
mm-hmm.
right? And you can't tell me that night is day and day is night, because I would really be stupid to believe that. But there's people out there that believe that. But my point is now is that what I experienced, Sterling, that is happening in United States, a similar thing is happening here in this country, right? With certain nationalities getting away with things. My son had like 12 inches my truck parked on the sidewalk. He was running by one of them machines to get a quick top up, and the police gave him a ticket for it.
Okay.
Right? I'm not giving him right for that. Don't. People out there will take that the wrong way. I'm not giving him right, so I have to make that perfectly clear.
Right. Okay.
If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be right. Okay? But he is a white boy. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I see on Borden Road, that these people are using this sidewalk for their driveway, and nothing is being done about them, right? This is why I'm saying a certain nationality in this country can do anything pretty much, and they have no consequences. They pay no cost, no penalties, or nothing, right? And until we get rid of that whole department that they call police, from the chief down, we need to get rid of every one of them, and every one of our politicians that close their eyes to everything that is happening in this country. They need to go also, because all they're doing is collecting a salary. They don't care what happens to this country, and it's a disgrace. Because if I can see and experience what is going on, I mean, I've been calling about this Borden Road, and you know what? If I go and park on the sidewalk right there, right now, I bet you I'll get a ticket. I was traveling in Savannah one day, right? And apparently there's a police officer that recently bought a house. I pulled up in the front of his house to talk to a friend of mine, right? And within seconds, the police officer was there, won't find out what we were doing, parking in the front of his house. I said, sir, this is my friend, we're only having a chat. But by this time now, my patience are running out. So my other friend took over the conversation, because I couldn't continue no more, because he had no grounds whatsoever because we had just pulled off the road, and I mean, two people just talking. But I don't know who was calling, but within seconds, he was there, wanted to see what we were doing and this and that. I said, we're not up to no harm or anything like that. We're not coming to steal or break into your place. We're just having this, my friend. We're just having a chat. And I mean, how can they get this kind of response in such a short time? And we, as Caymanians in this country, when we complain and make noise about something, nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. Now,
I mean,
just for clarity, you're on the main road, or you're on someone's private property when you're talking to your friend that you pulled over and talked to?
No. That, I mean, Sterling, there was a gate. He had his gate closed, and the bit of driveway extended out to the pavement.
Okay.
Right? So we were, and then he got a fence around the yard.
Mm-hmm.
But we were outside of the bounds of the fence.
Okay.
But on a bit of the concrete that he poured coming out to attach onto the pavement.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But his lines was further back.
Okay.
Right? But, you know, just to see the response, how quick that was, I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, which is your substantive point. I mean, you know, some get responses quicker for little things and large things. Okay, yeah.
But Sterling, I mean, you know, I've been complaining about this Borden Road. I mean, you know what? I call Osisho and Osis for the record. I call myself the broken record. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, that is under Mr. Hughes' portfolio, this area. And is he not hearing this? Is he not seeing the state that road is in? And across from that now, with all these containers now look like they're starting up garages there also.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when will it end?
But if I might borrow from, you used the word broken record, but we heard this term a lot recently with one of the former police commissioners, broken windows, where we ignored a little small thing and then it becomes a bigger thing and then it's the next thing and next thing you know, it's a huge thing, right? So the containers here, the bad parking there, the inconsiderate, you know, drive-in that is probably a little bit reckless and dangerous, and then the next thing it's, you know, dogs running wild and people not picking after their dogs and maybe people stealing from, you know, at what point will it become so lawless that the society is unsafe, all right? And if not for people like you asking us to consider where our values and our sense and civility, maybe we'll just become so afraid and not say anything. So thank you for at least acknowledging that something isn't right and perhaps something needs to be done.
Dwayne, it's no good of me of the law waiting until I come to your place and shoot you and kill you, and then they do something about it. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you get questions or if you get complaints or whatever the case may be, try to address it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do. Don't wait. We can't do nothing until, you know, within 36 hours. That is a bunch of rubbish, right? By this time now, whatever was going to take place or whatever was going to happen, it already happened. Now you're going to know, saying to yourself, God, I wish I had just make a little bit of effort, you know, put the law one side and address this, because this has happened too many times that, you know, we went there too late and it could have been avoided. But, you know, this thing about sitting down and wait, no.
Yeah. So,
Alan, thanks very much for listening to me.
No, thank you for sharing. And what I'm hearing you say, there needs to be a will, both a political will but a societal will, to do the right thing and stop ignoring what everybody seems to be, at least, you know, if it's not wrong, it could be a lot better. So thanks for sharing, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
And then as we listen to the call, we can hear the emotion. You may want to emphasize that. You may want to look through it and see here's a continued plea for a society that should grapple with these issues, you know, by first acknowledging and then trying to address. And maybe I can infer from what he has said as we go into the news break, we need to ask ourselves, what are our societal values? Are they what we think they are and what we think they were? Are they now unclear? Are they shared values? We see many times just the driving and the like. Let's talk about that at some point if we can today. When we come back, we'll speak about Cocoa Fest, 1:30. Mr. Chris Saunders, Mr. Risa Lewis Pitcairn, maybe Dr. Steve McPhail. But that's the schedule. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
With your headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. In the February 6 cabinet meeting, the government approved recommendations from the National Dress, Dish and Dance Task Force for the Cayman Islands. Cayman's legislators noted the recommendations for the Cayman Islands national dress, national dance, national drink, national dish, as well as the national dessert. The full summary of the cabinet meeting can be found on gov.ky. The Guyana Teachers Union is taking the government to court over its objection of the 2-week running industrial strike action and a series of reproach which the union now deems as discriminatory and a breach of violation of key human rights. In a fixed date application filed on Tuesday, the Attorney General was named as the respondent as the GTU seeks to quash the government's decision to discontinue the deduction of union dues from teachers' monthly salaries and a declaration that the strike is legal. The GTU is also contesting, among other things, the government's decision to deduct monies from the salaries of striking teachers for the days they were absent from the classroom. Jamaica Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says Jamaica must leverage its rich cultural heritage through the performing arts to enhance and diversify the tourism product. He noted that while the island's natural attractions have been drawing visitors for decades, it's time to recognize the untapped potential lying within the realms of performing arts. He said the performing arts sector plays a major role in both the entertainment and culture, and the tourism sector stands to benefit tremendously from the output. That's a look at your latest local news. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott was a quiet-natured child who liked going on the bluff with his grandfather Oscar Brown, swimming every Saturday evening and playing cricket down where Miss Alame's house sits now. He was very studious at Creek Elementary School and did very well under the tutelage of his favorite teacher, Miss Isley Connolly MBE. Following the tragic death of his father at sea, at age 14 he left school to work with Arnold Foster to support his family. In 1953 he joined his first ship, the Beretta, a local cargo vessel, signing on as deck boy, working his way up to bosun. From 1953 until 2006, some 52 years, Captain Scott made his living working off the seas.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. And as we get the opportunity now to share about some of the great things that are happening in our communities, that we can come out, share and celebrate and say, look, there's something else happening. Cocoa Fest, just the name itself sounds not just inviting and invigorating. It's something that go, ooh, I like a fest. So it's going to be, as I say, Pedro St. James. And I know as much as I champion East End and Cayman Brac, boy, the vista at those grounds, whether you're sitting on a lawn or you get close to the Iron Shore, it's just something majestic about it. Hopefully I'm not emphasizing it too much, but I think it's just, whether it's a waiting, whether it's a reception of sorts, whether you just happen to go there and take a tour and get Mr. Mickey and others to tell you, it's a fantastic place. Am I wrong, ladies?
Absolutely right.
Not just right, you know. Absolutely right. And they said it in unison. So all three together, 1, 2, 3, absolutely.
Absolutely right. I was a little off, sorry.
No, but thank you for laughing, because it's a fantastic place. So, all right. We didn't draw straws, and I think Miss Susan will delegate. So, Miss Baby, we'll start with you first. How about that? What do you think? Yeah. Okay, Miss Elia.
Yes, sir. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So we're here talking about Cocoa Fest. It's this Saturday at Pedro St. James. We have a lot of coconut vendors. We have vendors selling food, beverages, arts and crafts. We have a whole lot of games for kids. We have demonstrations. We have just a whole lot going on. Just don't want to miss it.
So, what's that? A whole lot of coffee in Brazil. So this is a whole lot of coconuts in one time.
There we go.
Miss Anju, welcome.
Right,
welcome.
So this Saturday we'll be going nuts for coconuts at Pedro St. James. So please come down. There's so much to do, so much to see. Like you said, the environment is just awesome.
Yeah.
The breeze is going to be great. So even though it's a hot day, the breeze is awesome around the coast. So don't be afraid. Come with the kids.
It may be a hot day, but never from the heat when you're on the coast.
Right, that's right.
And there is something. I'm not saying it's not similar or the same in the Polynesian islands or anywhere else. But we know in the Cayman, historically and traditional culture, the coconut is everything and anything using the sweet to the savory from that, fish dinner to where you're making the oil to fry the fish, whether you're rubbing it on your body for some ailment, whether you're making it. I mean, the coconut.
It has so many natural uses.
Yeah.
We're actually going to be showing a film during Cocoa Fest because normally we do the historic tour of the Great House and we do a film on the history on the house like that. But on Cocoa Fest Day, we'll just be promoting the use of the coconuts throughout the years. And there's a film done with interviews on older Caymanians and the uses that they had for the coconuts, from the flesh and the husk and the trash, everything could be used on a coconut for different parts throughout the years. And so they shared that with us in the film. It's just 25 minutes to 30 minutes long, and it's going to be running about 4 times for the day with a 10-minute break in between. So lots to learn on Saturday.
And I appreciate you emphasizing that, because 2 immediate things come to mind. One, if we look at the history of the country, you recognize not just the resourcefulness, the resilience of the people, but the way that they utilize things with a healthy sense of respect. Many of us have heard of mothers and grandmothers primarily. They would share waste not, want not.
These are the things that build the culture and the history in the islands, so it's really good to reinforce that and keep the memory going. A lot of these young generations, they don't really understand the use of the coconut so much, and it's so much to learn. And it's a really incredible natural resource. You can get coconut oil, you can get milk, you can use the trash for burning smoke to fight the mosquitoes, all kind of uses.
Just take the coconut husk and, you let it last longer.
Right.
The charcoal from it that you can use. Ms. Ali, there's all sorts of things. I'm sure you did this in your young age and scrub the boat bottom and
polish the floors,
right?
everything.
I'm sure you did that this weekend.
The floors for sure.
No,
but I had my time.
For sure.
And it's not about a throwback. It's not about nostalgia. It's about understanding how they use what they had in a way that we can borrow from that ingenuity.
It's sustainable.
A word that we get used so much, but that's what it is.
Sustainable.
Right? Sensible, practical.
Yep.
But if we don't think about it, be introduced and be reminded and understand how it's done, take the production of coconut oil. Some of us, boy, wish I could do it. Now we thank Ben and the like who can do it, and we call them up and say we want some coconut oil, and they make it. But if there's no coconuts to be made, nobody know how to do it.
And the process is very time consuming as well. So you have people considering like coconut oil is expensive, but that's really
what did it
good
take to
quality
make it?
stuff, and it takes time, and
Right.
it's so healthy for you too. So waste not, want not.
There you go. Have you tried making it, Miss Leah? Coconut
I
oil?
have not tried, but I regularly use it in my daily routines and stuff like that.
I use it on my hair a lot.
Okay.
I've tried to make it.
No, I don't.
That thing, it takes a while.
You-
Oh
have you?
my God.
Commend you for trying.
For
because-
sure. Like you
Yeah.
would blend out maybe 20 coconuts and get like less than half a bottle of oil. So it takes
Wow.
quite a lot to get
Yeah.
the quantity that you're getting. So when you see the vendors and their
Yeah.
pricing, don't ask any questions, please. It takes a lot of effort.
And
Right.
I say this carefully but consciously, because the people that do it say, if you try to take a shortcut, you may yield your production, but your quality is
That's it.
compromised.
Absolutely.
And you yourself will not have that pride. So
That's
when
right.
you understand what it takes, your mama make a fish dinner, you go to the table and, 2 licks and a promise and you wiped out the plate. But if you appreciate that she took most of her a long time to make it, man, you enjoy the meal.
That's
Might
true.
savor that
That's
meal.
true. That's why when anybody goes out to eat, you'll be like, boy, this ain't no home cooked food. It's
No.
not the same.
It's not. So for Cocoa Fest, it's in 5 minutes. When is it?
Oh,
when is it
Cocoa
coming
Fest
up?
will be
It
on
is this Saturday. Yep, this Saturday.
Yeah.
This Saturday, starting at 12 o'clock until 6 p.m.
Okay.
Admission is 10 CI for adults.
Mhm.
Children age 6 to 12 will be $5, and children under the age of 6 will be free.
Under the age of 6 will be free.
So bring the kids.
No excuses.
Okay.
All the kids.
If I shave, I could probably get away. I'm not gonna get away from the height
Probably.
level. but
Probably.
I can shave close up.
Probably.
But it's a worthy event. It's a
Definitely.
wonderful way to bring the family.
Absolutely.
And cocoa tarts might be there. All things coconut.
Everything
Everything's
coconut. Everything coconut. Yep, everything you think about it, just about.
I want you to share with us, and I want you to upfront forgive me, because I always believe that there's one of the best ways to fellowship is through food.
I agree.
And when you can learn through food the history of that food, the history of that culture in relation to its sort of affinity for that food, if it's not too personal, do you have a personal preference for how the coconut is used, how it's infused, how it's consumed? I mean, I know people who like to just the water. That's their thing. That's all. Some people like what I call it, the meat, the cream, the jelly. All people have different names, right?
It's hard to choose.
It's hard.
So much things can be done with coconuts. You can make candies with it. I know that's like personal favorite for a lot of people.
I think the tarts are my favorite.
And oh my gosh.
I think that's it for me, boy.
So
Those candies that you can get from those square ones with the half pink and
Yeah.
half white.
That's great.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah,
That.
the gazzadas.
You never
oh
knew the
my
name.
goodness.
But what about
Okay,
the
that.
coconut tart? With the pastry, and then you
That's
got to
a
boil it
gizzard.
down. No, well, the dessert, I guess.
That's the harder
Yeah.
one, right?
With the pastry on top and its open face. Then the tart is the one that you do the pastry, you wrap it up like a paddle, like, and you stuff and you
I
bake
don't
it,
know
right?
that one.
Oh, that's. I like that one because I tried it a number of times, and
I think
there's
I know
a.
you're talking about.
Everything is
I
awesome.
just
And then you can make real food now. You can go down into the coconut rundown with this fish. Oh my God.
So we'll have
So
cooked
good.
food out there, but they'll be cooking in coconut oil. So
Right.
yes, please.
Okay, it's lunchtime, and boy.
Listen to me, I'm getting hungry. Just
coconut milk.
had to
you can-
stop
so much
myself.
stuff. Toasted coconuts, making cookies, all kind of stuff can be happening with coconuts. So many options.
And now we seem to be able to buy the coconut flour,
Yes.
imported.
Right.
And there's, I think, Matanya, you shared, there is the health, the component, the health benefit of coconut.
Right.
And maybe for some people, they don't appreciate that. So just coming on Saturday, midday? So
Yes, I mean,
perfect
it's
time to come get some food.
It's perfect.
All right.
And the vendors will be out and ready, so come and have a great time. There are going to be games,
Mhm.
all kind of stuff to entertain the children and yourself. There's the restaurant, Touch and Bar will be there. Their bar will be open. Coconut rum is going to be served if you really want some, to go with your coconut. Of course, Peter St. James will be having branded coconuts. They're going to be ice cold and they're going to be amazing. So please come prepared to have a great time.
You know what? We should make Monday holiday just because.
I agree with that. I second this motion.
Yeah. Okay, motion carries. Oh man, and it's something that as a society evolves, as time passes, and we see many events in other countries they're being celebrated. It's their 50th anniversary. It's their 500th anniversary. But it had to be at least a first anniversary.
Right.
This has been ongoing for a while, and each year we've seen increasing awareness, but also, appreciation of it.
This is our 9th year, so we're really looking forward.
And it
to
gets
that.
busier every year.
Yeah.
We have more vendors interested in getting involved, and it's just more and more people are aware of how amazing the coconut can really be, and so much to learn and so much to experience. So people are more interested every year. We have visitors coming back every year just for Cocoa Fest as well. So it's really fun.
And to, as you said, I'm reminded to recognize that, it wasn't that long ago that the export of coconuts was an industry. Okay, we had a disease, as reported, by historical record, that destroyed the crops and damaged that, that continuation. But I say that to share that just like something happened then with something, if we are mindful of that, we could probably take steps to mitigate it happening to other things.
That's true.
And yet we can encourage, by the spin of the coin, people to not just be more resilient, but be more sort of responsive, and as they employ the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, the coconuts, who knows where it'll take us?
Right. It's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
What do people need to do if they want to be a part of Cocoa Fest? I mean, do we need to go online, log in and register? We just show up, in our best dress? I mean,
vendor or admission?
I was going to start with admission, but I'm glad that you answered my second question. If you want to be a vendor, but for the going public, Saturday from midday till 6 p.m. I want to make some time to come and check it out. Do we just come along, or that's all?
Tickets are available for purchase at the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So once you show up, you can grab them there, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's Saturday, and today's Thursday. But if a vendor says, you know what, I want to be,
Right.
Is it still possible?
So we are getting down to the line now, and we're filling up spots. But we are still accepting, a few vendors. If you really, really, really want to be a part of Cocoa Fest, you can give us a call at 947-2329, or you can email info@pjostjames.ky, and you'll be in contact with me, and I can help you get sorted with that.
I can see, the parent bringing the child, the older sibling, other people coming along and being a part of it. Now, for some who may go each year or go frequently, I mean, this is year 9, and they might say, I went last year. You know what, I can skip this year. But they'll miss something. If I may sort of impose and try to extract, give us a rundown of some of what is the schedule would look like, what are some of the vendors. Can we teaser to you some information?
Okay, yeah, we have a couple known vendors. Well, of course, we have Thatch and Barrel. Our on-site restaurant will be there with their food and beverage. But then we also have known names like Island Taste, Cayman Boba, Bajam Garden. We have Miss Jeanette from Bonafide Farmer with her jams and sauces. Really excited about that. We also have companies who do body products. So we have Body Treats. We have a lot of arts and crafts from companies like Catherine Succulents, and then a lot of the vendors from the Cayman Craft Market will also be selling their stuff at Cocoa Fest. So if you didn't get a chance to catch them throughout the week, you can definitely catch them on Saturday with us.
All right. And could we ask, one of our listeners off here was asking, many times as parents or even older siblings, we want to bring our children to something. You've been gracious in extending not just free admission to those at a certain age, but even a reduced cost. But while they're there, in a particular activities catering to the young child. All right.
Okay, so we do have a bunch of arts and crafts going on, run by the on-site art studio. The Visual Art Studio, to be exact. We also have a bit of coconut bowling going on, and then we have a game called the Coconut Shy. That should be very interesting to see set up and to see the kids playing that. But I'm very excited to see the coconut bowling. I'm not gonna lie, I might try that one too.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing, because even if it's an established game or someone trying to be innovative, this is where you think back to yesteryear. We hear our parents and in some cases our grandparents talk about what they did to entertain themselves. And as a child, you're going, really? You took a piece of limb from somewhere and you run around like a horse, and how can that be fun? But you don't know the fun you had, right? So it just reminds you of the importance, right? Who knows what a child might be inspired to create, to invent, to look at and go, oh, this can be monetized. I can be the next entrepreneur. That's true. I tell you, man, I try not to lie on days ending in Y. The other days, I'm not so sure about. But those days, I try not to lie. No, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Now, I know you've referenced some of the names, and they are quite familiar, the vendors from agriculture. But market grounds tend to come. It's another avenue, another opening, another opportunity. But for many of us, we don't make that journey because, it's so far. It's maybe closer and more accessible to them. I appreciate that we have other guests. I know that you guys got to get back, so we don't want it to take up any more time than you want. But share with us as you wish, because the invitation is there, man. We just need to take it up and come and enjoy.
Right. So, yeah, I'm just gonna
just recap for us. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So, just a reminder: it is this Saturday from 12 to 6. We will have a couple of performances from names like Mr. Dexter Bodden, the Cayman Cowboy. We have the Cayman Islands Dance Company as well. And we have a couple other local artists. We have our Steel Pan group as well. It'd be very rhythm and pan. So yeah, it's gonna be a very, very exciting day. Very, very exciting.
Preston will be hosting.
And Mr. Preston from Hot 104 will be hosting the event. Yeah.
It's just a way to connect the community, and it doesn't matter. You're here. You get to appreciate what is here, and then you go away. Who knows? Not only inspired, but actually informed about something that you didn't know. It's fun, man. And whether you're 40 or 44 or you're just looking to be 40, you can come and have fun.
Yes,
I really just want to encourage the public to come out and support the small businesses and local vendors that are going to be out there. They really put in a lot of effort to make this thing happen and make it great. Using coconut is a staple throughout the Caribbean. Whether you're using it in your rice and peas or you're using it to fry your fish, coconut use is happening in a Caribbean household throughout the year. So it's a really nice time to showcase all the different uses, and if you could support the local vendors, it's going to be amazing. So please come.
Well, as you shared, this is the 9th year, Ms. Ali, and the idea that you're showcasing the uses of coconut, its versatility, and I think it's almost ubiquitous. We can coconut from the sweet to the savory, even to that medicinal aspect. That same coconut from your backyard or from somebody else's has been used and is familiar across many jurisdictions, from the Polynesian Islands to the Caribbean, but even peculiar sometimes to maybe the Cayman context. You just never know. Coconut for me. What was that you say? We're going nuts for
coconuts, yeah.
I go cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. And you say that. Come on. I'll show my ears though. All right, but thanks both for coming along.
Thank you for having us.
It's always fun, and I'm glad that you were able to come across. Hope I didn't treat you too badly.
Oh no, we had a good time.
All right, maybe just one badly.
No.
Enjoy yourselves, and thanks for yielding some of the time, because I think MP Saunders and Mr. Louis Pitcairn are going to join us next, and who knows? They might get into the coconut bowl.
They should definitely show up.
They should definitely pop out.
No, I think they will. For sure. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. May your Friday even be better. The Saturday will just be exhilarating. You talk about it on Sunday, Monday. Hey, it's going to be a good day.
I'll see you there, right?
We're looking forward to seeing you.
That you will. All right. Take care. When we come back, I've got some of the things to share with you through our MP and the like. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Now is the time to see LA your way.
The Cayman Airways LA midweek sale has been extended until February 24th.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
The 615 Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
The 2024 Cayman Arts Festival is here, celebrating 20 years of world-class performing arts in the Cayman Islands. From February 18th through March 1st, featuring 8 unique performances, a mix of Cayman and international renowned musicians. View the full lineup of events or get your tickets at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries@caymanartsfestival.com. The 2024 Cayman Arts Festival, February 18th through March 1st.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And as we, wait, see, some of us will act and continue to do so as time passes. So on Saturday from midday to 6 p.m., make your way to Pedro, be a part of Cocoa Fest. It's 9th year, and increasingly we're not only seeing the interest and appreciation, but we're acknowledging that many recognize the history and the use and can see that there's much commercial uses that they can have to monetize for it to not only be a hobby, but potentially very lucrative from the financial perspective. We have, as I look at the schedule, put some time in at the request of MP Saunders to be a part of a discussion. We know that their schedules sometimes can change abruptly and can be very taxing. So if that transpires, we'll have them in the studio. But I'm reminded, this mightn't be Hollywood or Broadway, but the show goes on. It's a live radio show. So in the interim, there's some open line. I will not joke nor jest, or as my good friend says, threaten to sing. I'm not going to do that at all. At least, not just this second, maybe the next second. But it's open line in the meantime. 949-8037, 949-6990. We have some tickets to sort of share with our listeners in partnership with the Cayman Arts Festival, to say thanks, to invite you to come and share, not only to showcase the talent, but to say, hey, here are other things that are happening in our society that you may not know about, may not want to attend because of you don't feel you have the time, or you may have a particular perspective, but this may be a good way to sort of introduce yourself. Think of the new restaurant that is opening, and it says, hey, come on in, taste this thing. It's not just a sample, it's an invitation to look and to become aware. So we're going to do that. Now, we also want to share through you with the rest of the listeners on anything that's important to you. Go back earlier to some of the calls that we received. Let me start with some of the last points and ask the question, what is, in your mind, the value system in this country? What are our values? Do we have a shared values? Is there a belief that this is something that everybody subscribes to? Take, for instance, it might be an easy one, hopefully it is, a national anthem, or in the Cayman Islands perspective, the national song is being played, whether it's a sporting event, a national occasion, so that national anthem is being played. Is it the accepted practice and understanding and expectation, but also something that is going to be, done by all and sundry? And for those who don't, there'll be that disapproving look and gesture to ensure that everybody does it. And that is simply, you be quiet and stand at attention of some sort. You don't move about while the national anthem, or in the case of the Cayman Islands, the national song is being played. Is that your understanding? Is that your personal practice? That isn't pointing fingers at countries that don't, or individuals who don't. Maybe they don't in their country, maybe they don't realize that's what is happening. And if so, well, why is that? So what is your view? Let's ask that question first. Let's see if that is of any importance to us in terms of, do we have shared values? So in the Cayman context, and as we look at it in relation to, say, the UK or Canada or the US or any other country, when the national anthem is being played, is it the expectation that people show respect, they don't move about, they stop talking while that thing is happening? No. Is that your understanding? And if so, is that what is happening in the Cayman Islands? If it's not, then why not? Well, tell me what you think. Share your view. 949-8837, 949-6990. Or you can WhatsApp call 925-32621. Now again, that may be a very simple question, and you might say, well, why are you asking that? Of course everybody knows that. Well, do we? And even if we do it, is it our practice? I think that the national anthem of a country tells a story. There's some very somber, there are some that are upbeat, and for most of us, we may be more familiar with the national anthems because of sporting events, whether it's the Olympics, when it's being played as that athlete is on the podium getting the top award, the gold medal, or whether it is during the World Cup and the teams come on and you get the national anthem of the both teams as they take to the pitch. I love it then, right? But that's only a very small subset of the world's countries. But nonetheless, it's an introduction. In the Cayman context, I love our national song. I think it's a great song. It speaks to our history. It speaks to that yearning for us to return to our shores because we've been absent and we miss it. It also speaks to what I think is this very strong sort of spiritual connection, this desire. Now you might think, well, that was back then. Is it still today? Well, ask our students. And even those of us as adults who have been seconded to other offices, who may have, for whatever reason, relocated, even if it was, intended to be, a temporary relocation to other places. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you leave somewhere, someone, you may miss, you may not only appreciate. So with their students, they might actually then, and only then, get a true appreciation for the things that are in Cayman. Things that we probably will take for granted. They're not insignificant, but we don't know the difference. I'll share with you a story that I probably have, and if I haven't, then my apologies, because I think it was so instructive. I'm early in my adult working life. I used to, very consciously, would walk the beach. Not for exercise, but there was something, if I would use today's language, therapeutic about walking barefoot in the sand, feeling the salt water and the lake, and tasting the salt air and smelling the sea breeze and feeling it, which is a great thing. And on one occasion, I'm walking, and there's this gentleman, laying down. I come to realize he'd fallen asleep. His two children were nearby in the water playing. And you might go, well, that's irresponsible. And I'm not going to say that it was or it wasn't. But on the walk back, he had a little chat, and he shared. Whereas he could travel and has traveled to many other places, he loved it here. Why? Well, he could let his mind relax. He felt that it was relatively safe, and there his two little children just played, at the water's edge, and he didn't have to worry about so much. And that was the greatest thing for him. Had nothing to do with how beautiful the place was, or how clear the water was, or how expensive or not expensive. It was the peace of mind that gave him. And have we taken it for granted? Have we lost that? Are we at a risk of losing it? Not just because of the pace of development, or, as was phrased to me a number of times this week alone, the explosion in the population. But is it that we not appreciative of what is truly valuable? Do you want this great expensive meal that you can, if you'd allow, you can boast about, you can post about, look at what I can have, but it doesn't really taste good, it's not nutritious, and you don't enjoy it because it's more about pomp and circumstance, it's about style and no substance. It's like what Imam would say, oh, you're just showing off, right? Papa show, as they would say. Or do you want this little crackle, this little bread with this little thing, whether it's a piece of cheese or whatever, and you're sharing it with somebody and you're laughing, and it's not a fulfilling meal in terms of the sustenance, but it's a fulfilling dining experience because of the fellowship. Which would you prefer? That thing that you can post and boast about and it looks so good in a picture, but at the end of the day you're worried about what it'll do to your health, or that big belly laugh with that friend and you reminiscing and you feel so good and you don't want to leave, but you can't wait to return to rekindle the friendship, or which one would you prefer? Well, the answer should be obvious. So come back to the Cayman context again. If you can get through and you wish, do we have a shared value system? Is it at risk? Has it changed? Do we know what it is? Do we share it? What is that? Well, you share with us. 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call 925-32621. Let's also ask a question that was sent to us earlier by one of our listeners, and we had the guest on, so we didn't think it was appropriate. But in reading it during the break, it asks the question, when it comes to the local produce and the farming, not just more need to be encouraged to get into it, more that potentially could be done to make sure that it's lucrative and the like. But is the perception that the local produce is more expensive? Not that it's not better for you, and sure, as a result can justify a higher price, but is the perception that it is more expensive? And if so, why is that? Why would the local produce, be more expensive? The person gave as an example that two things. One, the local open air farmers markets, quote unquote, tend to be less expensive because of the overheads. The packaging isn't there. You bring a little bag, you buy your ground provisions, my word, and you take them with you, your fruits, your vegetables. But also, when it comes to things like the local brewery, and this was the person's other example, you take a tour of the brewery, it's a local, made product. It's in that area, less expensive than the other, things that are sold as, competing products. It's cheaper, and not because it's local that it has to be undervalued or devalued or not as good, but it was expected that it's cheaper because it's produced there and the cost should be less. Always the case. The person emphasized that if the local produced item is more costly to produce, then what can we do? Is it economies of scale? Is it the bureaucracy and the taxes and all the other things that increase the cost? Is it something else? Well, those were questions that I don't think, as they were written, were necessarily done so without, answers. Well, you share. 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp call 925-3261. And then, go back to, again, some points taken from the earlier callers as I look at what was being shared. The idea that in the Cayman community, what are we doing to address some of the things that maybe for now a growing practice? Perhaps it's a practice that for many we don't realize that it's having an impact on others because it may be a practice that is accepted norm in other places. The former governor would always publicly, especially here, make an appeal for us as we use the roads to be, a little bit more safe and sensible, a little bit more considerate and cautious when we were driving or riding or walking or however we're traversing the roads, so that we get there safely. And if we look at the amount of accidents on our roads, I don't know that a day passes that isn't some accident. All right, let's take this next call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good day, Mr. Sheridan.
And to you, man. How's it going?
Oh, boy, I'm telling you. The people are telling me, they're telling me, we want you to say more on the radio.
Well, I think when you have good things to say, people want to hear,
The thing is, I don't know what they want me to say. Well, they ask me to say a lot of things, but...
Well, let's start with this. If you're given the opportunity, what would you say? What is it, that you think we're not hearing, or we're not hearing enough? I mean, what is your view?
Well, I'll put it this way: the needs of most people, I'd say, financial power to the people. Yes, sir, financial power to the people. Things like to be honest, I can't really point my fingers at any person, but come on now. You mean to tell me that we got laws that we got put Caymans up in jail for going and getting conch and stuff like that, man? And fish? That's terrible. It got to be somewhere around that, man. Serious. You know how many of them told me that? This ain't politics, that's terrible. That is terrible, friend. Come on now. You got to entrust somebody in a position, and they can take that position and put laws together to make sure that you go to jail for catching fish and catching conch and stuff like that. No, I don't think that's right. That's food that God put there for the people. The different stories that people sing, they got different stories behind all that. But serious, I do not believe in Caymans going to jail for going and getting conch and I think they should take them out of jail. They should protest here in Cayman and protest for them to free them out of jail if they're up in jail for catching fish and getting conch and lobster and all that. Let them out of jail.
Well, I hear what you're sharing, and I certainly will not sort of take you to task just yet. But to that perspective, maybe we can say that maybe there are certain things that we can be a little bit more stringent about. Perhaps some things we can be a little more sensitive, but we want to protect our environment, including our marine environment, and ensure that not just for future generations, but that we're sensible now. Mr. Brown, with great respect, let us just pause. And when we return, we'll have MP Chris Saunders join us. He's seated and assembled. I think protocol has been established. When we come back from the break, we'll join MP Saunders. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
This Valentine's, Digicel has something special. Join our shared postpaid plan for unlimited data and minutes for both of you. Plus, get 25% off for 6 months. Activate a 5-day Prime bundle for 2 SIMs at $14.99. Enjoy free calling between both and 25% off for 6 months. Make this Valentine's memorable with Digicel Cayman. Visit us today for unlimited connections. Digicel, connecting hearts this Valentine's.
Attention Cayman Brac customers, it's time to connect to Pipewater and tap into savings. Save money with a lower rate than trucked water. Take advantage of a waived connection fee until the 31st of December 2024. Plus, being connected to Pipewater means you don't need to buy bottled water, reducing the plastic waste at the landfill. Contact Water Authority today to access a reliable source of pure, wholesome, and affordable drinking water straight from the tap.
You don't sound too good there, Bobo.
Yeah, you know how it is. With the kids back in school, every other week they coming out with something, and then I catch it.
Sound like it gets you, but for real, brother, flu season is here and COVID is still around. You gotta stock up on things like medicine, vitamins, and minerals for you and the kids. You know what they say, prevention is better than cure.
At ValueMed, our pharmacists can help manage flu symptoms and provide guidance on vitamins and minerals to best support you and your family's overall health. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown, or WhatsApp your questions and prescription refills to ValueMed on Walkers Road at 926-1662, or WhatsApp ValueMed in Boddentown at 916-5511. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And as promised, as expected, MP Chris Saunders joins us. So, good afternoon. How are you today, sir?
I am fine, Sterling. It's been a while since I've been on your show. Could you tell us the last time I've been on your show, actually?
Let me see now. I was 40. So that was yesterday.
Yeah. No, actually, it was last week I turned 51. And just for your viewers, this is a Cayman Islands Olympic pin. I noticed when I'm wearing it, people start asking certain, like you just asked a while ago. So I want to make it, everyone know it's a Cayman Islands Olympic pin, and there's no special organization that I'm in, anything like that off.
So your hand can't give us no problems then?
No.
Okay, just checking to make sure. No. But as an aside, the design of our Olympic pins and many, not only are they on par and perhaps exceed some other designs, it just shows the creative talent that we have. Whether it's Miss Cara or others who've designed things. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I am. This is actually one of my favorites. I think at Bernie Bush, when he was minister, I'd given, actually I need to call Bernie back. I called back after the show because I saw a missed call from him. When he was minister, I'd given me a collection of pins. So I'm certain of different colors and so forth. So like with most jackets, if there's a particular pin that goes well with a particular jacket, I would just leave the pin on the jacket.
Okay.
So whenever I pick up a jacket, it normally would have, a set pin on it already.
So if you weren't on radio in the public domain, I would say I like your brooch with your jacket that you. I won't say that because we're
No.
I'll leave you alone. No, but there are some creative people, but some of our Olympic pins in particular. When I look at the ones where Micah design and Cara and others, incredible.
Yeah, man. No, we have some talent in this country that is unbelievable. I mean, just last week, I think our members of the education department our Ministry of Education went down and were looking at some of the work that some of the kids, like some of the scholarship kids did, and they were just amazed.
Yeah, man.
I was speaking to one of them, and they were just like, floored with the amount of talent and so forth. We have a lot of talent, and you know what? This is actually a good time because in yesterdays gone by, we had many talented Caymanians that, we didn't have the world that we're living in today where, for them to display their skills, it's not as easy as it is today. So it has really made a difference, and I embrace a lot of I tell a lot of young people to embrace these opportunities. I mean, you live in exciting times.
Yeah, and I think if I can borrow from what is great, we all have friends from other jurisdictions who come to Cayman, and they do two things. One, we get to see Cayman through their lens, and we can have a greater appreciation and awareness, but we also understand from them this idea of the big fish in a small pond. They're great sports, they're great at arts and the like. Back where they're from, they're one person of say 1,000 looking for a volunteer position. They're one person of maybe 100,000 for a scholarship, or one person in 1 million. In the Cayman context, they're one person in maybe 2 or 10. So we can emphasize our people and raise the bar by developing them. Let's not take that for granted.
No, man. No.
Yeah.
No,
so,
not at all.
Anyway, it's a great place, and I'm mindful that I make no apology for being, quote unquote, driven from a society perspective to raise the bar, to encourage your people to get involved. It has nothing to do with electoral politics. It has all to do with societal engagement. So
it's weird. A friend of mine sent me a video just yesterday, and in the video, the person was speaking about people being a very low threshold to deal with pain. And I speak to people, and people, everyone, I always believe their cross is the heaviest.
Yeah.
But when you sit down and you look at the world today versus where the world was, it's a great time to be alive. And we have all these other struggles. I still have every letter for when I was going to college that my wife and we're dating wrote me. I mean, we saw these 3, 4, 5 page letters. I still have every single one. I know what it's like to call home collect. You remember them days? Yeah. When all of this stuff, and these kids, just get up. Like every morning around 2, 3 o'clock, my daughter calls me from the UK. She knows I'm up.
Good for you, boy.
So she will call me, check on me. Then I have a son that is a whole different, more prodigal than anything else.
Like his father.
Huh?
Like his father.
Well, I know what that part. More like his grandfather, probably. But but it's kind of one of those things where we appreciate it, but they're just something that they're born into. Yeah. And there's one video, Sterling, that was really profound that my son, over a year and change ago, had put in our family group chat, where this guy said he went to visit his coach. And his coach said he was concerned about the future. And he says, why? He says, my grandfather walked 10 miles to work. My father walked 5 miles. He says, I'm driving a Mercedes. My son is driving, he said, I'm driving a Cadillac, sorry. My son is driving a Mercedes. My grandson is driving a Ferrari. But my great-grandson will be walking again. And he says, why is that? He says, because tough times create tough people. Tough people create easy times. Easy times create weak people, and weak people create tough times. And this is why we need to kind of have a warrior-type mentality. And it's weird because it takes 4 generations, literally, for something to change, that global reset. It takes about 4 generations of people. Most people don't know who their grandparents' parents were. That's reality. And we look at the world today, like one of the last great resets we had was 1945 at the end of the Second World War. And 80 years from that great reset in 1945 is 2025. And then you look at what's going on in the world. You got the war going on in Europe that's been brewing between Russia and Ukraine. You have the Middle East issue that's going on now, between Israel, Hamas, and everything else. Then you even have Guyana getting ready to go deal with Venezuela. It's as if though all the lessons and all the institutions that we created from that 4 generations ago are basically now forgetting, where we, and for people who live through it and they instill certain things. So for us, we go as far as what our grandparents instilled in us. They're like, you visit your grandparents and they instill certain things in you. But then that next generation down, It's not the same level of installation because people are living the first-hand experience. You know what I mean? And this is where we are. And to give credit where credit is due, many of the issues that we have, we can't say that we weren't warned about it. We can't say that we didn't know about it. I mean, 20 years ago, it may seem that long. I remember Dr. Frank out there, raising a flag on social issues in terms of social housing and housing that was needed. I mean, while people criticize, Dr. Frank, for the homes that were actually built, they missed the bigger point of basically the doctor saying that these homes are needed. And if you go back from the last, then when it started till now, how many homes have we built, but what is the population like? You know what I mean? You go through, Cineco. 20 years ago we created, I think Cineco is 20 years this year. You know what I mean? We created Cineco, big issue back then. You know what I mean? Gilbert McLean, God bless him, he had the foresight, he had the vision and everything else. He took his criticism. Now today, if it wasn't for Cineco, many Caymanians wouldn't have any health insurance. So it's kind of always been one of those generational issues, but about creating those institutions.
Societal wealth.
Yeah.
As opposed to the individualistic approach to materialism.
I just came from a meeting a while ago. I was meeting with Lizette from the HSA. Lovely woman, switched on, beautiful heart, love people. I love interacting with Lizette, and very hardworking, dedicated. Every time one of my constituents needs something, I can pick up the phone and call Lizette, and I guarantee if I don't get her, she's going to call me back shortly thereafter. You know what I mean? And what they're doing over there is like remarkable work at the HSA. Like with everything else, we live at a time now where people expect instant gratification for every single thing. You know what I mean? And we're just going through some of the concerns that I had, that sometimes not every concern need to be in the public domain, because you do recognize that people out there are doing a lot of hard work. And one of the things that I endeavor my very best to do is focus more on policies and not get down to something, because you got over 1,000 staff doing a wonderful job. And what you don't want is just someone just get up and start being critical. These are people who lead their families, they work on public holidays, they do all kind of stuff. So people got to go above and beyond. The healthcare itself is a special case, but that's a different show for a different time. But I just want to at least give some props to Lizette and the hard-working team at the HSA. I haven't sat with her for about an hour and a half and going through some of the areas that I think that they can probably improve on, which is actually pretty good.
But as you share, Mr. Saunders, the idea that you reference Cineco and the HSA, they go hand in hand, because health, as you often champion as I do, your health system is a pillar in your society, right? And having that access, whether through an insurance, a program, whether it's subsidized by government, whether it's national or otherwise, if people can't access health care, they may in their minds conclude, you know what, let me not use up what I got, let me build it up, or I can't afford to because of whichever, like everything else. So whether it's housing, how that's defined, or otherwise, we need to be able to ensure that the people take ownership, they benefit, but they contribute, not equally.
Yep.
But contribute.
Yeah, well, we're more like more from an equitable standpoint. But the thing about it is, Sterling, and this is to kind of put things in a kind of mindset where people can understand. I'm here to talk about this consumer protection and guarantees bill that we have, but one of the things is to say to people that this is part of a bigger program. Because if you, in every society, there are three pillars. You have the community pillar, the economic pillar, and the political pillar. And we have been focusing so much on the economic side and the political side that we have forgotten the community. And it's about the people. And now I said, if you go back and you understand even the history of government, people created government. It wasn't government who created people. And over the years, we have kind of lost that. And the emphasis now is to try to get more people-centric, more community-centric policies, more focused from that standpoint.
Yeah. I don't want to, take away, because I know it's important to speak of this later, but as we go into the break, I'm guided by what you just shared, that community-centric approach, that pillar, the people pillar. Do you think that the system we have with the one man, one vote creates more of the focus on the political pillar and then divides the populace as opposed to some sort of...
No.
Does you think it cements it?
No, absolutely not. The thing about it is this. One of the most things, and it's weird, About a couple of months back, I had a meet with some of the youth parliamentarians, and one of the YPs had asked me the question if there was one thing that I could change. I mean, it was a powerful question. If there's one thing that I could change, or would like to see, what would that be? And there's one number that has really blown my mind for quite some time now, and that is 1 in 400 trillion, where scientists has calculated that the chances of you being born is 1 in 400 trillion. When you think about it, everybody got 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great, and so forth. And when you look at even your parents coming together and making you, and then their grandparents come together making them, I mean, the amount of different situations that had to come for your DNA to be what it is today, it means the universe wants you here. Everybody is special. I mean, every single person is 1 in 400 trillion. And the one thing I wish that I could achieve politically is for people to truly understand just how valuable they are to the process. Yeah. That is one of the things I don't think that we do enough to make people really realize how important they are in the process. Yeah. The universe wanted them here. That's right. And it's our job to let them know that, you have a place here.
Well, I'm glad you share that publicly, because I know you have with some of us and even the other platforms. And kind of why I was thinking when I asked that, because we have that oneness in terms of the vote and the accountability, would we have the unity in the greater numbers in terms of how we react? But that's a discussion that we're going to have in ongoing. Consumer protection, when we come back from the... Let's take the break. All right, stay tuned. You know what? If you go on YouTube, you see the pin. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
With a look at your headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Police say on the 10th of February, they executed a search warrant of a residential address on Mahogany Way in Prospect, where they identified the second boat that was reported stolen on the 8th of February. Also at the location was a third boat and trailer that had been reported stolen a week earlier, the 30th of January, from a boat park in South Sound. In addition to the boats, other suspected stolen items were located, including 2 shipping containers on the property. A 68-year-old man of Georgetown and a 52-year-old woman of Georgetown were arrested for theft and were transported to the detention center for investigation. The incident remains under investigation by the RCIPS Criminal Investigations Department. Anyone with information relating to this case is encouraged to contact the Georgetown Police Station at 949-4222. Grenada Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell signed 3 memoranda of understanding with the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. The signing, which took place hours before the military parade at the National Cricket Stadium on Independence Day earlier this month, signals the 2 parties' commitments on matter of culture, trade, and education. This will further enhance their existing ties of friendship and cooperation and their commitment to the objectives and principles of the Charter of the United Nations. Noting the importance of culture, education, and trade, both Prime Minister Mitchell and President Akufo-Addo believes the MOU will serve their common interests. Some of the initiatives may include cultural and educational exchange programs, business and investment forums, and knowledge-sharing platforms within the Afro-Caribbean brand. The United States Coast Guard says the crew of its cutter Bernard C. Weber repatriated 33 migrants to Haiti on Monday following an interdiction of a migrant venture near the Fort Pierce Inlet in Florida. The U.S. Coast Guard said that earlier this month, a Good Samaritan notified the Sector Miami watch standards of grounded fishing vessels. The U.S. Coast Guard said that along with the Homeland Security Task Force, Southeast partners, it will continue to be a presence in the air and on the waters to detect and deter migrants from attempting to unlawfully enter the U.S. by sea. The U.S. Coast Guard said its crew repatriated 53 migrants to Haiti in the fiscal year 2024, which began on the 1st of October 2023. That's a look at your headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And in the studio, MP Chris Saunders joins us. And, it's great that in this country, I'm not saying it doesn't exist in other countries, whether it's the office of the governor through the representative in the office or senior civil servants, but with great respect to all of them, are elected parliamentarians, whether this show or OC or others. We can talk to our parliamentarians. We can interact with them in a way that many of us don't understand doesn't happen in many jurisdictions.
I know. Well, one of the things that makes small, like it comes to the challenge of being a small island is access.
Yeah.
I mean, after population have literally all elected members' telephone number in their phones. I mean, where else in the world do you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, going back to what you were saying about, role one man, one vote, is that I think it's, while people may have their issues with it, I love it for one particular reason, is that, one, it allows greater focus on constituency, but more importantly, you can get elected in one man, one vote without the big money special interest groups. You know what I mean? And that is one of the things that I actually love about it, because I've sit down and asked myself the question. I mean, I haven't ran in the 2013 election and been unsuccessful. Is that the amount of resources required to do all of Bordentown itself is a challenge. You know what I mean? And I mean, I look at, Bordentown East, Bordentown West, Savannah, Newlands. I mean, if you look at the individual amount of effort it takes just to win in those constituents and then multiply that by 4, it is a challenge. You know what I mean? But this gives you a more personal contact with people. But more importantly, it leaves the special interests and the big money. If you do, you can afford to get elected in Cayman without big money. I think both of my elections in 2017 and 2021, I don't think I spent even close to like $20,000. I think 2017 may have been $16,000 or $17,000. I think the last one may have been about less than 20 again too. So those are stuff that you can actually afford yourself, not become beholden to the special interest. And it's kind of weird because I look at this consumer protection bill. Yeah,
if I might, MP Saunders, before you go there, not speaking.
Chris is fine, man. No, MPs. Chris is fine.
Listen. Across the table, I have Miss Norma and Miss Paulette, and because my parents have raised me to be respectful to person and also to the office, if I say anything,
they used to work together. Internal audits.
You're younger than me and all that. So yeah.
But I'm just turned 51 last week. Same day as Bob Marley, Yeah, but Chris is fine.
No, listen, like a chat. Same as Bob Marley. Yeah. That man's a legend. That man's
I said the same day. The same day, February 6th.
Miss Susan, take his mic off. Not even that.
No, man.
You can't even click. No.
I wouldn't even think that.
I just tease.
So was Ronald Reagan and Babe Ruth too. Also on February 6th.
So it was Stan Anglin?
He was February 5th and OC's February 5th. They were the day before me. They were 1 day short of February 6th.
Why this man, let me almost behave. But I wanted to ask of you in relation to your comments with one man, one vote, and certainly with the expenditure. I think many would agree with you. Two things. One, not pointing to you or anybody else. Some have shared that with the way our legislation in relation to the campaign financing is, if you spend money outside of that window between nomination day and election day, those funds committed and spent prior and not expensed can legally not be included in your accounting. And so some are strategic in paying for certain things and the like. how does that play in though to that expense that may come in, and then when the official declaration is required, isn't accounted for in that vein?
Yeah, I think the answer to that, the solution to that, is actually go to accrual accounting. I mean, for us as current members of Parliament, we have the standards in public life.
Right.
Where, I mean, and it gives us a certain amount we still have to declare. We go through that annual declaration and so forth. So for the current members, we have rules that basically govern our conduct and our anything that we do and so forth. For the banks, we're PEP. When political exposed persons, we're IRISC and all that kind of stuff. Where I think the issue comes in is when you have someone planning and running that they're doing everything, but they're not subject to the same rules. And I think, and this is part of the whole campaign reform that needs to be looked at, not just financing, but even the window in which, at what point do your expenses and everything else kick in.
So anything
like you said, someone can go and clock up. No, the thing about it is, Sterling, that puzzles me, and I ask this of people. And not to be facetious, but you don't have a day in a newspaper anymore, so that's one big expense that's gone. You don't have a TV station anymore. That's another big expense that's gone. So the two biggest expenses you used to have was radio and TV. They're gone. It costs about $50-$60 to boost a proper video on social media. I mean, what do you need all this money for? That's no. I'm being realistic.
I'm just laughing at what
I put up like 3 big billboards. Three big billboards. That's about maybe I think less than two grand a piece or whatever for those billboards. You know what I mean? You do social media. You know what I mean? You have I do one public meeting because I still prefer my means to be interactive, one-on-one, that kind of stuff. To really, because you get a chance to interact with people. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a big puzzle. But I mean, every district is a bit different. I'm blessed in the sense that I'm to represent where I live. You know what I mean? So I have a working class, aspirational, middle class Caymanians. So their view is a little bit different. You know what I mean? Whereas I know I have other colleagues who are in some areas where the makeup is a little bit different, and it can be quite where more assistance is needed for some individuals. But outside of that, I can honestly say I don't think I could have found a better district to represent than Bordentown West. I mean, it's been my home now for more than 40 years. I mean, we moved to Northwood in 1983, from North Sound Road. Still original town, but but like with anything else. And the reason why I love my constituent, I mean, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, is that if actually your first degree is in economics, so you would know this. See, I remember that.
So you got that all in.
The one group of people that actually pay taxes in a country is really the middle class. The poor don't pay taxes because they can't afford to. And the rich, while they pay the taxes, they actually pass on the bill to the middle class. And this is why it's important at its core that the policies that we pursue is one that expands the middle class. So you hear many Caymanians complain about, the middle class has been eroded. And it's for that reason why we need to make sure that we go above and beyond to protect the middle class, ensure that there is a middle class in every country. The thing about it is, Sterling, is that when you think about it and you really backtrack, one of the things you very rarely hear me talk about is income inequality. For the simple fact that from man's recorded history, we have always had income inequality. What we have not had, and which has been the difference in the last several decades, is income mobility. Is the ability where you start one place and you end up someplace else. And I use my own grandmother as an example. I mean, she didn't have the opportunity she had. She had 10 kids. In their working life, only one, George McCarthy, had the opportunity to really go off to universities. I've had other aunts that have gone back and got the degrees post-retirement and so forth. I mean, one of them, Aunt Pauline, love her to death, proud of her. She finished working, she went back and she got that college education and everything else. But during her working time, was not able to really profit from, getting an education. So of her 10 kids, only one had that opportunity. But then of our 30-something grandkids, more than half of us are college educated, And when it come on to our great grandkids, I'd probably say about 100%, unless they don't want to, would be college educated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it has been about that in the terms of that income ability, giving people opportunities. And at the end of the day, we can't guarantee equal outcome, and you shouldn't. The one thing that we should push for more than anything is equal opportunity, give people equal opportunity. Yep. And that's the same, even the pension thing. I have people that do criticize me. The pension, I'm like, guys, if people need it, the option is there. It is just about giving people opportunities, about giving people options, because not everybody's situation is the same. You know, people will have their challenges. So it's really about creating opportunities and creating that environment for the middle class to thrive. Now, part of this consumer protection bill, the main essence behind it is part of the bigger program of focusing on how do we keep people hard-earned money in their pocket. Just as you and I are sitting right here, there are people right now meeting, whether it be at lunch, business, boardrooms, or whatever, thinking of ways to take your hard-earned money. And just as though people sitting on there, whether it be a marketing campaign, advertising campaign, some promotion or something to get you to spend your money, we also need people that is equally dedicated to focus on saying to people, keep your money, save your money, don't spend your money. I pride the fact that the vehicle I still drive is a 20-year-old Ivan vehicle. You know what I mean? I love it. It's about 191,000 miles on it. When I bought it back in 2004 from the insurance company, it was 4,106 miles. Bought it for $2,500. And I've decided I'm going to run that and maybe leave it in my will as long as it still gets me from A to B. I know I say to people, do not go out and invest in a vehicle.
Well, it's not even an investment.
Well, exactly. It's not an investment. You know, look at real estate, look at land. I mean, we had politicians. I mean, I look at Roy and Gilbert from Bordentown was literally telling people, don't sell your land, don't do this, don't do that. They get up, they cuss them, they call them socialists, they call them everything under the sun. Now today what we have, we got a problem with that because people have gone out and sell their land and then they're complaining about the different people. So we can't say that we weren't warned.
Right.
And I mean, and I know I came here to talk about this bill. I mean, look at this bill. Yeah. This bill, for example, was done by the Law Reform Commission, and I may get the date slightly off. November 2015, this process started. They published this in 2016. The bill has just been sitting there. You know what I mean? It's about consumer protection. Successive governments have come along and like, yeah, we need consumer protection, And I saw the bill's like something even before I got elected. And I say, you know what? The bill is about 95-98% complete. I'm going to go and just, since I got some time now, let me go get the bill completed. And so it has been a focus of mine. Now, part of the challenge I have now, and it's one of the things I wanted to touch on today, is that there's one part of the bill that really, you know, while I was completing the bill, that was a little bit uneasy with me. And it's actually surprisingly, hold on, it's the very last, on the very last section, you know, that deals with part of the bill, in which it basically says that this bill do not apply to basically entities regulated by SEMA, the financial services industry. And if there's one thing that this bill definitely needs to be amended to deal with, is the banks.
Yeah.
It deals with financial services, because some of the fees that they're charging, I mean, they have gone completely, it's gone completely out of whack.
Yeah. If I might ask you then, from that perspective, you know, we refer to it as a consumer protection bill. Just for the public certification, our understanding, a bill usually is something that's being brought by the government, a government member. In this instance, this piece of legislation.
I can say to you, Sterling, I can, surprisingly, this is my standard, this is my manifesto from my last election. And on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 motions in my first sitting that I dealt with when I got elected between 2017 and 2021. And the amount of them that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of them passed that were not implemented. And basically it's like that with a motion. From maternity leave come right down where you ask the government to consider something. And the government, yeah, we consider it. Then we decide we're not doing it. The way in which it is written. But part of now, as we move to an independent parliament, is to move away from motions and start actually carrying bills, start carrying stuff that's binding. Motions are good for bringing an issue to the forefront and increasing public awareness. But the real effective change comes with an actual bill. So from my own research, this is the second time ever in Cayman's history that a bill is actually being brought by a non-government. The first one is actually Truman Bodden, I think in the late 80s. And of course, I mean, the Honorable Truman Bodden should say, sorry, I don't want, But of course, when you have a legal background and you own a law firm, it's something that can be done.
He's very astute.
He was really ahead of his time also.
Yeah.
But when I look at this bill that was actually, I would say 95% completed, 96% completed when I took it up. And that extra few percent just to get it completed was so much work. I don't know what it would have been like if I had to do this bill from scratch. I can tell you I would not have the financial resources to actually do something like this. And one of the things I'm open for now, as we are now moving to an independent parliament and everything else, is that we start setting aside resources to allow representatives to be more effective. Because the other flip side is then if you want something like this done, you literally have to go out and raise the funds to do it. And sometimes it is that fundraising and, going and begging for, assistance with getting certain things done. That's sometimes where that little string get attached come in. And that is what we need to move on. So if people really want better expectation or better representations, because I can tell you something scary, Sterling. If you go back to something that Machiavelli said more than 500 years ago, the most difficult challenge in the history of human affairs is to change the established order of things, because those who will be disadvantaged by the change are certain of their loss, while those who will benefit from the change are uncertain of their gain. When I look back at even the initial pushback I got on this bill, a lot of it came from the business community. And people also need to understand that most of the people who make donations or campaign donations or political donations are from the business community. But more importantly, it is people who have done extremely well, people who have done very well. So ask yourself this question. If someone is doing extremely well and they're donating to a politician, the question is, do they want a politician to change the system or maintain the system that way they did very well?
Yeah, the status quo sometimes benefits.
And you see that's the problem.
Mr. Saunders, we've got the final quick break to take. When we come back, we invite our listeners to rejoin us.
This Valentine's, Digicel has something special. Join our shared postpaid plan for unlimited data and minutes for both of you. Plus, get 25% off for 6 months. Activate a 5-day Prime bundle for 2 SIMs at $14.99. Enjoy free calling between both and 25% off for 6 months. Make this Valentine's memorable with Digicel Cayman. Visit us today for unlimited connections. Digicel, connecting hearts this Valentine's.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Now is the time to see LA your way.
The Cayman Airways LA midweek sale has been extended until February 24th.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for listening to us, and thanks to MP Chris Saunders. I know he said, call me Chris, but we're not playing dominoes, so...
You can play dominoes.
I can match. Can you play dominoes?
How do you want to answer that question? Come to the cricket field one of these
so
evenings.
You can teach me then?
I can teach. It's almost mathematics, you know.
Yeah, but you code and probably cheat.
No.
I'll put a show.
Listen, I can tell you straight up, it's strictly mental dominoes. I can't deal with the code. It takes the fun of the game.
Yeah, I asked OC just to make sure. I'll put a show.
OC can play. No, man, OC can play.
Yeah,
OC can play.
I'll tell you what.
Ask OC, ask
No, all jokes aside, it's a game that I would love to see more of us play. I would like to see us, not just at the cricket, the old art culture grounds, but in town, in the parks. We got the tables and you sit and you have a six-up. There's a particular country where you travel, you see people playing chess, another sport, right? And it's the elderly people just enjoying themselves.
Mm-hmm. That has actually become of late. My go-to stress relief has actually been playing chess online.
Yeah?
Yeah, the thing about it is this. I got my first chess board back in 1985. I got it for Christmas 85 from my dad. And literally, the only person I used to play chess with is something I used to do with my dad. And my daughter's the only one who actually learned how to play chess. But the board is right outside my room because we have a little place where we keep all the different games. Every day I come out, I would actually see the board. And, I would actually miss him. But I've been playing online. And because what I do at nights before I read, I got a general rule. I play three games online, read for 1 hour. Then I play 2 games, read for half hour. Then I play 1 game and then read for another half hour. So it forces me, and for me, when I make silly mistakes in a game, it basically tells that my concentration is down. So it means that either I need to go do something or call it a night, that kind of thing. But it shows me because some of these guys out there, you literally have to concentrate. Mm-hmm. And the minute you break your concentration, you could be winning and one bad move just change the entire game.
Like life.
Yeah, as with life. Yeah. So, but that's one of the things that I use. But I will say this, Sterling. Coming back to the issue is that we have a great country, great islands, whatever people want to say. Yes, we have challenges like everybody else. But I can tell anybody right now, there's no better place on this planet I would want to live and work than right here. And the good thing about Cayman is that 1, we got a population that can fit literally in a U.S. stadium.
It's the space for more.
Yep. And 2, regardless of the things that are wrong with Cayman, they can still be fixed by the things that are right with Cayman. We have good people, we got decent people, we got hardworking people. But what we don't have is the institutions in place to look out for those people and protect those people. But it's also something that the people themselves will have to do in the sense of start pushing for the creation of more institutions. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I said, I just pointed back to Cineco, one of the last institutions that was created. I think Gilbert he did Cineco, he did NRA, and he brought the HSA back. I know Ezra did it back, and then Gilbert brought it back as Westminster, bring back the Health Service Authority and everything else. Those are the institutions you create. And that even after politicians have left the scene, those institutions remain. And our goal now as the political leaders of today is to build on what it is that those guys have. It's very easy for people to be critical of decisions that people make, because Einstein is 2020. 2 nights ago, I was having a discussion with one of my constituents, and she felt bad because, the cost of our elderly parents was really taxing. And I had to say to her that, listen, I'm going to show you something, and it's actually, I did send it to her. It's still there on my phone, just to make sure I get the information right. But when I look at the United States and Social Security, we're talking about Social Security. And in the U.S., the Social Security Act was passed in 1935. And it was there for people 65 or older. And you look back and like, okay, so they passed it in 1935. But when you go back to 1935 and you read the headlines of when Roosevelt was there, do you know what the life expectancy was for men in 1935? 59.9 years of age.
Compared to
for
now.
women, 63.4 years of age. So they passed a Social Security bill as part of the New Deal back in 1935 when it passed. To people to collect this money at 65, when no one was living to 65, people were living past that, but the average life expectancy at that time was 60 for men, 64 for women. And then you say to them, you go and you tell them, oh, I got Social Security for you, collect at 65. Mr. President, a man didn't reach 60 back then, Women don't even reach 65. So they put it at that point. Now, what is the life expectancy today? 79.11 years. So now they have adjusted the law since then. I think they moved up to 67. But you're talking about something that was designed to pay out very little, but you created that social safety net. Now people are living past what it was originally intended for. And I'm like saying, what your parents are living, you can put their life back in context. I mean, we will sit down today and we will criticize people who are getting NAU. If you think about it, we brought the pension law in the 1990s. By whatever you would have saved up, the 2008 financial crisis would have wiped out many people, the value of many people's pension, period. While younger people may have been able to recover, somebody who was 50 year old in the 90s when that thing would have passed, or in their 60s already, what would they have today? And then if you look at the current contribution rate, that even of 10%, it takes you 10 years to save 1 year's salary. And if you work for 50 years, that's 5 years worth of salary you would have saved. And even if your investment were to double during your lifetime, you say 10 years worth of salary. When women are living 19 years past the age of retirement, men are living 14 years past the age of retirement, what is the 5 or 10 year salary going to do? You're going to add that shortfall. So this is the reason why it's important for us to create not just these institutions, but also the safety net for our people. Every single international standard that out there for financial services we want the Cayman to adopt. Well, what about international standards that deal with maternity leave? What about international standard that deals with basically employees' rights and all that kind of stuff? What about the very international standard of consumer protection? So when it comes on to the international standards that to benefit our people, you don't hear about that. And when people do get up and try to say about it, well, all of a sudden you're a socialist or you're a troublemaker or you're anti-business and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But this is the reality of where we're living. Yeah. And when you live in a service-based economy where 95% of our people make their living from providing a service, it also means that 95% of our people, Sterling, is one medical emergency away from their families having financial struggles. I've been to death's door already. So have you. We know what that is like. Now, you were in government at the time. Maybe there's some protections that come with being a civil servant. I was in the private sector, and I can tell you, I shudder to think what would have happened to my family if it was one of those illnesses where I could no longer provide. What would happen to my wife? What happened to my kids? What would happen to my family? So these are the kind of things that keep people awake at night. How do we sit down and put institutions, how do we put a safety net? How do we put things in place that allow people to say when they go to bed, they'll be all right? And like I said, I just came from meeting with Lizette, and it's about even going through the HSA because I see healthcare as a basic human right. You know what I mean? And there are some structural changes that we'll have to make to our current system that, it will take some lobbying and for decision makers to understand what the bigger picture is.
Yeah. I know that left to Ms. Susan and myself, we would have you, in particular, all our MPs on, because these are important discussions that speak to the wider thing. I'm not so worried about my job today because, I'm handsome, I could be a GQ model. Susan on the other hand would say...
Susan got a lovely voice. Wonderful person.
I'm trying to be jovial and a little levity. We do have, sort of respectfully, just a few closing moments. But could we invite you back as your schedule allows?
Absolutely.
Because this substantive issue just shows, as you shared, I'm thinking of two things. One, our parents talk about dollar saved is a dollar earned. So if we reduce the cost of living, the cost of operating the country, there may be more disposable income for people. But then if we have, to use your word, that's social net, the transfer payments could be utilized in such a way to benefit all. And maybe we'll get away from terminology like, being a socialist, to understanding that these are fundamental rights.
Sterling, what triggered this bill for me was that a constituent that bought a new car. The car turned out to be a lemon.
Yeah.
She got stuck with 5 months paying a car loan for a car she couldn't drive and had to rent a car. And also, again, basically being a single mother.
Yeah.
You need transportation in order to go out and make a living for your people. And, of course, there was nothing there for her to turn to for help. And people need to recognize at some point, while she may have been nice about it, I can tell you, there are some individuals out there when I speak to them, boy, Chris, if that was me, that's a different story. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, we see road rages. It doesn't take a lot to anybody to snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we need to make sure we create a society where that never happens.
Yeah. Fair is fair,
Yeah.
no matter who.
People need to have access to justice.
Right.
They need to have access to, when they work for their money, they need to be able to know that their money is valued.
In our subsequent discussions, certainly we can explore the different, sections of the bill, but you have highlighted the part where specifically an entity regulated by SEMA, banks.
Basically law exclude those financial services entities. And if I'm going to be, like I said, from the feedback I've gotten from the public, and to credit to Dr. Steve Matfield, when I first announced that the bill was been submitted and everything else, Dr. Steve was the first one to say, Chris, you need something in it for the banks. The banks excluded. No, we were originally looking at a separate piece of legislation just for the banks. But then I'm seeing now that other countries around the world now, and you look at even their regulatory body in terms of bank, are saying that we're no longer going to be focusing on just the prudential part of the bank, the regulatory function. We're also going to be focusing on consumer protection. Yeah. So if you look at even SEMA's law, the monetary law that governs SEMA, it speaks to consumer protection in it. But then, the question is, but where are the functions, where are the mechanism to deal with that? It is not something that's very easy.
Right.
And and part of my research now, and I'll be the first to tell you, Sterling, most of the time I be up late at night, I be looking at what other countries doing, and I try to borrow, to use a polite term, no need to reinvent the wheel. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I
Best
can borrow
practices.
that. Yeah. Well, they say to steal from one is plagiarism, to steal from many is research. I'll be the first to tell anybody there's a lot of research. I look at what the UK is doing. I look at what New Zealand is doing. I look at Australia is doing. Barbados recently did something, and Jamaica is doing some stuff.
Benchmarking.
Yeah. International best practices. Yeah. So, and this is what people want from their legislators.
Yep.
There's a social aspect to it, and I enjoy that part of going out. But the real joy for me is policies that I can see I can make a substantive difference. The pension thing, some of them people have now convoluted that whole process, which has become an issue for people to pay off their mortgages and everything else. People are making it difficult for people, as expected. And people need to understand that they're not going to roll over and just allow you to be debt-free so you can be faced and all that kind of stuff. They want you in bondage. They want you in debt. People need to understand that. They're not keen to let you go.
MP Saunders, I'll ask you to have your wonderful team schedule you my wonderful team here can accommodate you.
When is the next opening? Because I really need to. I know I'm on OC show tomorrow to actually speak about the bill also. But next week I'll be love to come back next week.
Before you leave, sir, I will access the calendar if you got 2 seconds.
Yep.
And we'll book you back in.
Yep. So I can get onto the bill.
Susan's like, man, you should keep him on long. Don't worry about your job, man. You got money.
You can put him on at 1:30 when people are already sitting after lunch and the fatigue already sitting in.
Okay. Now I got to defend myself. When you reached out, your team reached out to me specifying a day, I'm like, this is what I got. So
okay, I will. Before we leave here, we set a new date because Parliament starts back the 26th. This is on the order paper.
Okay.
And like I said, there are some. We need to do those amendments to the banks.
All right. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Yep.
Please, as MP Saunders shared, he's on tomorrow morning with Mr. OC.
Yep.
So join him then, and you might be surprised as to when he might return here. It could be tomorrow as well, but you don't know. We'll tell you. Stay tuned for OC. Let me check it. And I was gonna ask Susan to play a Bob Marley song. You know, one of the lyrics said, "None but yourself can free your mind. Emancipate yourself from."
Yeah.
Until tomorrow, my friends. Eat chocolate, love your parents, honor yourself by being a good steward, and of all, show deference to your talk show host. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.